So my name is Nathan Kent. I'm 17 years old, and I'm a dual sport athlete at Rocklin High School. I'm a senior this year. I play football and I run track and field. I've been doing football since probably about the 6th grade and come to love it ever since. And I've been doing track my whole life. Yeah, so right here, right now, we're in the middle of our football season. Lucky enough for me, and our football team, we're 8-0 right now. We just had a really big win against Folsom High School, 40-7. That was a big win for not just our program, but for NorCal as a whole. It was definitely a team win, though. We had dudes from, all over making all kinds of plays. Defense stepped up big. Definitely one of the best teams in NorCal, if you ask me. So I can't be more thankful for what we have and what we've done. This year, I was elected team leader or team captain. So that was a big step for me, or it meant a lot to me, you could say, because at Rocklin High School, that's voted by your teammates, not by the coaches. So that meant a lot to me that my teammates were looking up to me and they wanted to see what I could do as a leader. And so I hope that I filled that role and that I've been able to complete that. And that to me is more important than playing football, is my ability to help my teammates and lead this team and be successful. For me, I think my favorite part of the season, every time one of my teammates scores, is a party in the end zone. I love watching our big boys come down from the line after making great blocks. They do a great job. They come down and they're screaming and they're hooping and they're hollering and they're jumping and they're picking us up and putting us on their back. It means a lot to have a line that not just will block for you, but really truly cares about you. I wouldn't actually say that there was a play that I've made that was really impactful to our team. I think my ability and the blessing that I have is speed, and that speed is considered really dangerous in football. And I have the ability to take the top off, which can be scary. So I've gone some double and occasionally some triple teams out there on the field, and that puts our guys like Kyron Bell and Elias Mullican one-on-one, and you can't guard those guys one-on-one because they'll embarrass you, and that's what they've done and that's what they're continuing to do. So you better figure out some way to guard them because they're not stopping. Yeah, so I've had the blessing of having great coaches my entire life. Matter of fact, my very first coach ever was my father. He was my cross-country and track and field coach back when I was, growing up. I ran my first cross-country race when I want to say I was 1.5, 2, maybe 3 years old. But I've been involved in the sport for as long as I can remember, track and field. So I've loved it. And my father has really been my basis and my root for, what a coach should be and what that is. I love our relationship. We're able to split it very well between time to work and time to be a dad, and he does a great job at doing it. And it's not just me; he coaches everybody very well, and I'm very thankful for that. I've had coaches, being a multi-sport athlete my entire life, I've been exposed to all different kinds of coaches and all different kinds of things, and I gotta say it's just made me a better person and maybe a more understanding person and a more empathetic person because I see all the different backgrounds and all the things people come from. So I'm very thankful for that. I've had coaches, that were yellers, that were quiet, but every coach that I've ever had has always made an impact on me, a positive impact, and I'm very thankful for that. My football coaches especially have had a huge, just a meaningful impact on my life and what I've done. Every coach I've had along the way has just poured into me, and I'm so thankful for that. Starting off with my Wood Creek program, although I only was there for 1 year, they did a great job of introducing me to the sport of football, and I couldn't ask for anything more because I ended up falling in love with it. And then I was able to go to the Rocklin Junior program, and our head coach there, Steve Bucciolato, he did a great job just introducing to me into what Rocklin football was, and not just what football was and what it meant to play at Rocklin, but what it meant to be a young man. And that process just continued on throughout the junior years and led to my high school career here at the high school. And Coach Adams and the program that he walked into and that now you could say he's owning is an excellent ideal and an excellent place for young men to grow up and become men. I truly think it is. I think he's done a great job of doing that. And by doing that, not just for me, but for our whole team, he's created a very mature team, and I think that's kind of where we're at and why we're doing so well right now. Yeah, so this year we started off really well. We scheduled some tough opponents that ended up having a hurt season or having some hurt players coming into the season. So that was a little rough, and you could kind of say we rolled those teams. It was great to see some of our other dudes play, though. I love watching some of our seniors like Ian Ronald and those guys get in and get playing time that they hadn't have, and it's awesome to see them go out there and compete. But you could say our first pivotal moment that we had this year was Granite Bay or Del Oro, either one. Both times we came out and the opponent's first drive, they went down and scored. And our first drive, we went 3, 4 and out. So that was definitely a big sucker punch, you could say. But both times our team rallied back and we came in swinging and we came in hard. And at the end of the match, we were the victors, and I couldn't be more proud of that. My participation in the United States Naval Sea Cadet Core. It's you could say an ROTC that's not through school, but a third party. It's sponsored by the Navy and the Navy League. And it has allowed me to have leadership experiences that most teenagers wouldn't even think of it, that I could only dream of. It's a program for 10 to 18-year-olds, and they take you, when you're 13, you become a cadet. You have to go to recruit training. At recruit training, you learn the basics of what it means to be a Sea Cadet. And then from there, you have up until you're 18 every summer to go on advanced trainings, and every winter to go on advanced trainings where you get to just experience what it is to be a leader and just experience some of the jobs that are available to you in the Navy and in the military and paramilitary. But it's not even limited to that. I've had friends who have gone lawyers and JAGs and done all kinds of things through this program. It's an amazing program. But more back to what I've learned from the program. Coming in, I was 13 years old, and the first day there, I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty scared. Seeing a bunch of people walking around, running around in uniform, shouting orders, telling me what to do. But I wasn't quite sure if I would be able to stick around. So drills are a weekend, every month, or once a weekend every month. So I showed up for that second day on Sunday, and I was pretty sure I wasn't gonna stick with it. I was gonna quit, but that second day, one of the leaders walked up to me. He asked me if I could train the new recruits. And I kind of paused and I said, "Hold up a second. I'm a new recruit." He said, "I understand that, but I think you understand what's going on. So I just want you to see if you can teach these guys really quick." And so it was that almost kind of trust and relationship building that I realized that you could have with the Sea Cadets, and then that was going to give me an opportunity to be out of my shell and to lead and teach people. I was all for it. And after that moment, my Sea Cadet career just took off. Currently, I'm a chief in the United States Naval Sea Cadets. That's the highest rank you can have. Sea Cadets uses enlisted Navy rank, so E1 to E7. And after about 3 years of advanced trainings and coursework and leadership experience, I've been able to work my way up to the leading chief petty officer of the Sacramento Division, which is about 120 cadets strong. So I'm very thankful for this opportunity. Depending on who you ask, I've been running track since I came out the womb. I'm pretty sure I cut my own umbilical cord by running fast enough, if you ask me, but no. Both my parents were actually track athletes in high school and in college. That's actually where they met, at Azusa Pacific. My dad was a long jump triple jumper, and my mother was a 800-meter miler. She also ran cross country, so you can say I kind of got it from the gene pool. But my parents run a track and field program, or an AAU track and field team called Revolution Express Track Club. They do an outstanding job, and they started that the year before I was born. And when you say I grew up around track and field, I didn't just grow up around it. I grew up in it. I grew up everywhere it was. That was me. That was my life growing up. And I loved it, every second of it. Once I hit about 6th or 7th grade, I started to get, not necessarily tired of it, but I definitely wanted to try new things. I went out for the baseball team, figured out I needed glasses because I kept getting hit with the ball, and ended up working my way back to track and field my 8th grade year at Silverado. And I also just want to mention that my 8th grade year at Silverado was definitely a turning point in terms of athletics. That's where I found my real joy back in competing and being on a team. I really enjoyed my time there. But back to 8th grade track at Silverado, I went back to running the 400 meters, which wasn't ever my main event. Back when I was 8 years old, I ended up competing at the Junior Olympics in the 800 meter, where I took 7th place at the Junior Olympics, which was pretty cool. But as in 8 years old, you don't really quite realize what a moment you're in. You're just kind of hungry. So then my 8th grade year at Silverado, I picked track back up. I ended up running the 100 meter, the 200 meter, and the 400 meter, setting the record at the school, and I believe all three, and then also the long jump. Going into my freshman year, wasn't quite sure what to expect with track and field. I just knew that it was definitely something I wanted to do. Despite an injury and entering the season late, I was able to run a 49 my freshman year, which was pretty unheard of, and I think I was top 20 in the nation at that time in my age group. So I couldn't be happier. I thought that was pretty good, and I hope to do just a little better the next season. Sophomore year, as everybody knows, was cut short by COVID, and then junior year I was really motivated. I didn't want my season to get cut, and I wanted to give it my all. So I came out, was able to run a 47, which was a big surprise to me and a big surprise to everyone there. Ended up 2 meets coming back, running a 47.47, so an even faster time, which seeded me at that time top 3 in the nation. So that was pretty cool if you ask me. But that was my time, and I was able to run a 10.7 in the 1 and a 20.22 in the 2. So all times I was not expecting to run that early in the season. But it was looking really promising, and then sadly I suffered an injury in football. For those of you who don't know or you weren't following sports necessarily during the COVID season, they decided to run all the sports during the springtime. So I was playing football and running track and field at the same time. I was splitting football practices and going to all the track practices. Ended up being about 4 hours out of my afternoon, but honestly, I couldn't say I enjoyed it more. I love the grind, and it was awesome. Nothing but support from both my track coaches and my football coaches, and I really did enjoy it. So now going into my senior year, ranked top of my class or top 10 of my class, I can't say I'm nothing but excited. We have a team that my coach has built around. Last year we had 5 guys run sub 50 seconds in the 400 meter in high school, which is unheard of, especially at a Northern California school, just unheard of. And it wasn't because of any freak talent or any crazy thing. It was because they came and they grinded, and we worked all year long for that. Coming into this year, 3 out of those 5 are returning, myself included, and I can't wait for what we're going to do because I know we're just going to tear it up. And just as football, state is the goal for track and field. Names are remembered and names are forgot. What's going to happen. But I hope that I had an impact on everyone I met. I hope that everyone I talk to is gonna lead their day better, and I hope that that's the kind of person that I was at high school. That's the kind of family person I was, and that's the kind of the son I was, and that's the kind of brother and cousin I was. And I hope that's the impact I have when I leave high school. Is I leave it better than I left it. You could say that.